Hello, today we are going to discuss employee selection. So this is the part 1 of employee selection. I am Dineti Yasodhara Jayaratna, Senior Lecturer, Department of Human Resource Management, University of Kelaniya. Moving on to the learning outcomes of the session, at the end of the today's session, you should be able to explain what is employee selection, why proper selection is very important for an organization, explain the objectives of employee selection while identifying the inputs and requirements for proper employee selection, and then later on we will discuss the basic selection process which can be used to any organization. What is employee selection? If you see in here, I have given a definition for employee selection. Have you noticed, have you read about employee selection before? I know you have learned HR planning, job designing, and then attraction. Here, we are going to discuss the process of making the choice of most appropriate person from the pool of candidates recruited to fill the relevant job vacancy. As very correctly, if I say, in the HR plan, you identify what are the job vacancies to be filled in the future of an organization. According to that HR plan, organizations attract pool of candidates that to a specified job. In here, employees, the organization, thus is where they make the choice of most appropriate person from the pool of candidates that have been attracted in employee attraction. ඇත්තටම කතා කළොත් employee selection වලට එන්න කලින් ඕගොල්ලන් job designing, job analysis, HR plan, employee recruitment නැත්නම් attraction ගැන කතා කරනවා. එතකොට HR plan එකේදී you identify අඳුරගන්නවා job vacancies මොනවාද future organization එකේ create වෙන in terms of because of a promotion, because of a retirement, because of a death of an employee, because of a transfer, anything. එතකොට company එක identify කරගන්නවා මේ relevant job vacancy එක. Attraction එකේදී කරන්නේ you attract pool of candidates by using several mechanisms. Paper advertisement එකක් වෙන්න පුළුවන්, job posting website එකක වෙන්න පුළුවන්, anything where what you do is you attract pool of candidates that might be suitable for this vacant job position. එතකොට selection වලදී කරන්නේ ඔයා ඒගොල්ලන්ගෙන් right person, most appropriate person select කරගන්නවා job එකට. If I say in other words, it's a process of picking or choosing the right candidate who is most suitable for a vacant job position in an organization. ඒ කියන්නේ vacancy එකක් තියෙනවා නැත්නම් vacant with the job position එකකට most suitable නැත්නම් right candidate ව choose කරගන්න එක, pick කරගන්න එක. So it has to be a process which is a systematic process that candidates can be evaluated according to their qualities that are required for a specific job, then choosing the suitable candidate for the position. For this, we require the documents that has been developed in job analysis. You know, there are two types of documents developed in job analysis as job description and job specification. In the job description, it includes what are the tasks, duties, responsibilities at the end of the roles of a person who is going to perform that job. In job specification, it includes the information about the qualifications, qualities required by the candidate that who's going to perform that job. එතකොට මේ දෙකේ job description එකේදී task duties තියනවා වගේම job specification එකේදී ඒ task duties perform කරන්න අවශ්‍ය වෙන පුද්ගලයාගේ තියෙන කුසලතා දැනුම් qualifications include වෙනවා. ඒතර ඒවට match වෙන්න ඒ qualities evaluate කරලා බලනවා in an organization in the selection process මේ ඉන්න pool of candidates ලගෙන්. මේ job එකට මේ qualities match වෙන කෙනෙක් ඉන්නවද? ඒ ඉන්නවා නම් එයා තමයි අපි කියන right candidate, that is the person who is most suitable or most appropriate. Because you know, the selected employee, නැත්නම් මේ right candidate, right applicant, most appropriate person, he will be an asset to the organization. You know, human resources, මානව සම්පත. ඕනම ආයතනයක තියෙන වැදගත්ම සම්පත. So obviously, if you select the right person, the valuable asset as HR, human, that this person, that individual human being become an asset to the organization that will help the organization to achieve its vision, mission, goals and objectives. එතර මෙයා right person නොවුනා නම් මේ qualities හරියට match වෙන්නේ නැත්නම් job එකත් එක්ක that person won't be an asset to the organization, that will be a weight බාරක් වෙයි. And also, without qualified employees, an organization is in a poorer position to succeed because the organization will not be able to achieve the predicted or expected success in the future with less right people. So selection is really important, and it's like more than just choosing the best available person. ඒක නිකන් ඉන්න හොඳම කෙනා තෝරනවට වඩා එහා ගියපු දෙයක්. It's much more than like just choosing the best available person. It's like selecting the appropriate set of knowledge, skills, abilities, competencies, qualities, like coming with a package of a human being that attempt to get a fit between the applicants and what the applicant want to do, as well as the match between that what organization needs. ඒ කියන්නේ සාමාන්‍යයෙන් selection කියලා කියන්නේ නිකන් එතන ඉන්න pool of candidates ලගින් හොඳම කෙනා තෝරගන්නවට වඩා හොඳම කුසලතා දැනුම් අත්දැකීම් තියෙන නැත්නම් knowledge, skills, abilities තියෙන හොඳ package human being කෙනෙක් හොඳ package එකක්. එතකොට මෙතනදී it's an attempt to make a fit between that individual as well as in the organization. It's person job fit. We will discuss further in few slides. එතකොට මෙතනදී අපිට පුංචි ප්‍රශ්නයක් එනවා. A small question arises whether we are going to select most appropriate person or most qualified person. Normally, we look for people who have more qualifications with more diplomas, more degrees, more masters or PhDs. We get impressed of that person. ගොඩාක් qualifications තියෙනවා නම් අපි හරි impressed එයා ගැන. Wow, that person have more qualifications. But be vigilant. But පරිස්සම් වෙන්න. හුඟක් qualifications තිබුණ පමණින් ඒ පුද්ගලයා නොවේයි ඒ රැකියාවට සුදුසුම පුද්ගලයා. Even though that person have more qualifications, has more qualifications, yet he might not be the most appropriate person, most suitable or the right candidate for that job. So we have to be very careful to select most appropriate person from a pool of job applicants. But that person might be the most qualified or might not be. අපි attract කරගත්ත pool of candidates ලගාව ඉන්න හොඳම qualified කෙනා සමහර වෙලාවට right candidate වෙන්න පුළුවන්. හැබැයි සමහර වෙලාවට මේ හොඳටම ගොඩාක් qualifications තියෙන කෙනා නෙමෙයි right candidate, ඊට වැඩි චුට්ටක් අඩු qualifications තිබුණා. එයා හැබැයි සමහර වෙලාවට මේ job vacancy එකට right candidate වෙන්න පුළුවන්. Because of that, the selection process should have a systematic approach. It systematically has to choose the person who suits best with the job. Enisa, an organization has to be very carefully select the most appropriate, right, most suitable candidate rather looking for most qualified person. And also, when we are selecting employees, there might be people who are overqualified or underqualified for that position. For an example, if I say a vacancy for a junior lecturer is appeared in a newspaper, and a person who has just ordinary level qualifications with less academic qualifications apply for that. So that person is underqualified. If we select that underqualified person, since his attitudes were very positive, but that employee would not be able to perform the task, duties, responsibilities of that junior lecturer position. අපි දන්නවා junior lecturer කෙනෙක් කියන්නේ even that person does not do lectures. හැබැයි එයා academic work වලට තමයි support කරන. ඒතර එයාට required knowledge එකක් තියෙන්න ඕනේ even basic degree එකක්. එතකොට එහෙම නැති කෙනෙක්ව අපි select කරොත් ඒ job එකට he is not the best person, he is not the right person for that job. එතර වෙන්නේ මොකක්ද? අපි under qualified කෙනෙක්ව තමයි select කරගෙන තියෙන්නේ. එතර වෙන්නේ under qualified කෙනා ඒ job එකට ගත්තාම එයාට ඒක කරගෙන යන්න තේරෙන්නේ නැහැ. That person does not have that capacity to perform the required task of the job. Then he get demotivated. Overqualified උනත් ওই දේම තමයි වෙන්නේ. නිකමට හිතන්න ජොබ් එකක් නැති නිසා ඩිග්‍රී එකක් තියෙන කෙනෙක් normal කාර්යාල කාර්ය සහායක කියලා අපි කියන්නේ නිකන් just an office assistant or a management assistant job එකට a person who obtain a degree applying for such a position. හැබැයි යාගේ knowledge එක යාගේ level එක ඒකට වඩා high. He's overqualified. Since he is like at that moment he barely wanted the job, and then that person applied and then get selected because of some kind of situational factors. But still ඔයා ඒ job එකට select වුණාට පස්සේ ඒක කරන්න තියෙන හරිම small tasks, and there is no any opportunity for you to use your knowledge, your experience gained while you are doing a degree. What happened is you get demotivated. ඔයාට එපා වෙනවා ඒ රැකියාව. ඔයාට තියෙන්නේ නිකන් support කරන්න. අපි ඇත්තටම කිව්වොත් office assistant කෙනෙක් නම් letters type කරන්න නැත්නම් mails යවන්න යරෙන්න. There's no any opportunity for a person who is a graduate to use his own knowledge which has been acquired while doing a degree. ඔය දේ නිසා එයා overqualified කෙනෙක් ඒ position එකට. So that person get demotivated to perform that job well. So that's why even the qualification is required for a specific job. The selection committee might be an interview panel, might be any kind of a selection panel, has to be very carefully select a person who is the right candidate, who is the best suitable person, who is the most appropriate person, rather looking for most qualified person. So අපි හැමතිස්සෙම මේ කියපු දේවල් වලින් කතා කළේ careful selection is really important. If I highlight that thing, you know, we discussed, I told you at the beginning, the right candidate is an asset to the organization එකට වස්තුවක්. Why? His performance linked with the organizational performance, because you know it subordinates having right skills, right qualifications, right attributes, right competencies, right experience. That person can help the organization, can contribute to the organizational success, organizational performance. ඕනම organization එකක performance depends on the employees of that organization. ඔයාගේ හිතන්න, think you have a small business. You have a small business. So when you are picking a helper to your organization, what you look for, මගේ organization එකට යට contribute කරන්න කොච්චර පුළුවන්ද? How much that person can contribute in terms of knowledge, in terms of monetary, anything, but a person who might be the right person for you to support and make your business a success. The same thing in any organization. They think that, and also the organizational performance depend on these right people who have selected for right job. So because of that, this careful selection is really important. Not only that, recruiting and hiring employees is costly. If you do attraction, you know you have to put a paper advertisement. Sometimes Facebook, it's okay. The advertisement is free. You can post advertisement. But you know, to make it boost, to make like you can, to appear as sponsored, හැමතිස්සෙම appear වෙන්න, you have to pay for the company, pay Facebook company. And also, if you are using a job posting websites, you have to pay for those companies. Okay, so then attraction, starting from attraction, it's a cost. And then selection, because you have to select these people with a panel of interviewers or sometimes good examinations, aptitude tests, sometimes assessment and centers we will discuss in detail in the part 2 of employee selection. So what happens is the company, the huge cost is associated with recruitment like attraction, selection, having tests interviews interviews, sometimes for higher positions like senior manager level, DGMs and all, those interviews might not held within the organization. You might book a hotel, a better place. So it's a cost. Okay. And also, not only that, after you are hired an employee, so hiring, you have a place කරන්න cost එකක් යනවා. එයාට place එකක් දෙන්න if the organization has to arrange a cubicle. So everything is associated with this right selection decision. So it's a cost. Not only that, there are legal implications. Have you heard about equal employment opportunities laws? It ensures that illegally possible or like legally impossible for employers to discriminate people under certain features like legally impossible. These laws, there are several laws up in Sri Lanka as well as in European Union and in any country, but some countries very less laws, but in Sri Lanka now we have some kind of laws to ensure this equal opportunity for employment or equal employment opportunity law or equal opportunity for employment laws. So this ensures that legally impossible for employers to discriminate people under certain grounds like race, color, region, religion, gender. ඒ කියන්නේ ඔයාගේ ආගම, ඔයාගේ ආපු ජාතිය, නැත්නම් ඔයාගේ ආපු පළාත, නැත්නම් ඔයා male ද female ද කියන grounds අතරේ can't discriminate. ඒ කියන්නේ if there is a vacancy, like to ensure that since you are a female, you will not get select to that position. So it's discrimination because we can't say that male female, but there are certain jobs, but in the present scenario in the world, we don't discriminate this gender for jobs, no gender discrimination, but still it's happening. But to avoid that, there are these EEO laws. Here it protects the employee. Okay, so it protects the employee to ensure in terms of recruitment, selection, compensation, termination on anywhere, like to have a proper non-discriminatory selection procedures. Not only that, legal implications what? There are people or applicants might come from questionable backgrounds, like they might associated with fraudulent cases, legal cases that might be problematic for the organization in future. So because of that, the organizations has to be very careful when they are selecting people to avoid people who are coming from this questionable background. So better to neglect those people, and that's what we say, it's like negligent hiring. නිකන් හොයලා බලන්න නැතුව his qualifications is okay, attitudes is okay කියලා select කරනවා. But you know, in an interview people can sometimes act. Interview එකේදී රඟපාන්න පුළුවන්. එතකොට interviewers ලා සමහර වෙලාවට රැවටෙනවා වෙන්න පුළුවන්. So because of that, to ensure what these people have stated at the interview is true or correct or false, you have to have a background check. We will discuss in the next, like in the employee selection hiring, like employee selection 2, how can you check backgrounds of people? But still, you have to avoid people who are coming from questionable backgrounds to ensure that the smooth functioning of the organization. Person and job organization fit. This is the main aim of employee selection, to achieve person job fit. If someone asks, what is the main aim of employee selection? That is person job fit. It refers to like matching the knowledge, skills, abilities, and competencies that are central to performing the job as determined in the job analysis. We discussed job analysis එකේ තියෙන job description එකටයි job specification එකටයි මේවා match වෙනවද? The information included in the job description and job specification matches with the description of the individual. If the organization can ensure this, that means it has ensured a person job fit. This is mostly about the prospective employees' knowledge, skills, abilities, and competencies. So if you can ensure this person job fit, gradually it ensures the person organization fit. But still, even though an employee is match with the job, it might be wrong for the organization. For an example, you are a person with very traditional attitudes and you have applied for a westernized company like a private company. So if you have such attitudes, if the job role is matches with yours, but still what will happen? You might not match with the culture, values of that organization. Then you might not be comfortable to work in such an organization. Vice versa, a very Western person, and in Sri Lanka, you might get selected to government organization which is very traditional. Then you might not survive in that organization. So ensuring person job fit and also person organization fit is really important. So if you know this person job fit, it's like having compatibility. නිකන් ඔයාව match කරලා බලනවා. Compatibility between an individual's characteristics and the specific job, person job fit. But still, there are like several components of this person job fit, like person role fit, person group or person team fit, person organization, person company fit, and person fit. From the names, you can identify what it says. Like this, each component plays a vital role in how an employee will be able to work at the company. Because with the team, with the colleagues, with the organization, as well as in the work job, person job fit. So this same role on a different team or at a different organization is going to be a different job. So this component has to be fitting in to perform an individual optimally. So if we say person role fit, that means the match between an individual and the specific work that they will be doing in the future. So this is like mostly like හැමතිස්සම අපි කතා කරන්නේ person job fit කියලා මේ person role fit එක ගැන. So it's really important to match this. Not only that, it's really important to see how this person team fit, like the compatibility between an individual and the group of people that they will be working with. It's really important because a human being is a creature which works in groups, not individually. එතකොට අපි මේගොල්ලන් මේ ඉන්න එයා වැඩ කරන්න යන එකේ ඉන්න ටීම් එකේ අයත් එක්ක compatible වෙනවද? If we do a proper induction, this person team fit might little bit easier. That's why we will discuss employee induction as well. So this is little bit difficult to measure than person role fit, because cohesive and high performing teams will combine people like similarity and get complementary skills in others and work well. But if that team is not that high performing team, then this new employee might struggle. So still it's hard, but person team fit, ensuring it's important the company can take measures like induction or kind of activities to let this employee like easily work with the team and ensure person team fit. Induction hari podi team activities නැත්නම් podi get togethers podi parties breakfast parties ඒ වගේ ඒවා company එක mechanisms use කරලා ඒගලන්ට පුළුවන් මේ person team fit කියන එක improve කරන්න. Then person company fit, where it's like we think about individual and the company as a whole, Because in addition to these behavioral tendencies, the relationship, the compatibility is heavily influenced by the values and cultural norms of the company and the individual. එයාගේ values උයි company එකේ values උයි match වෙනවා නම් it's really easy for that employee to work in such a company. So the company when recruiting අපිට company එකේ values culture change කරන්න බැරි නිසා when selecting an employee, the company has to ensure whether this compatibility is there. So that's why the company can ask some questions at the interview, whether the employee knows this well about the culture of the organization, and not only that, the employees like interviewers can ask few questions from the interviewee. The candidate ගෙන් ප්‍රශ්න ටිකක් අහලා බලන්න පුළුවන් company එකේ එක match වෙනවාද කියලා. එහෙම match වෙන්නේ නැත්නම් even though that person has more qualifications, that might not be the appropriate person. එතකොට එයා හොඳ qualifications තිබුණත් good skills knowledge මොනවා තිබුණා person company fit ensure කරන්න අමාරුයි වගේ නම් that person might not be the suitable or the right candidate for that job. Then person fit, it's like the match the compatibility of an individual as well as other individuals like colleagues, managers or direct reports. So this can be ensured after, like at the interview also we can see how the attitudes of this person, whether he is very comfortable in working with people or whether that person is aggressive or anything, but still try to ensure this person fit as well. So selection වලදී මේවා තෝරගන්න එක මේවා match කරගන්න එක it's really important because the main name of employee selection is person job fit. එතකොට person fit, person job role fit, person team fit and person company, person organization fit. Ensuring these four is really important because if you can ensure these four, that person can be the right candidate for the organization. Now we have to think the importance of employee selection. මොකද්ද වැදගත්කම? දැන් අපි කතා කරන්නේ ensure කරන්න aim is to ensure a person job fit. So what is the importance? Because you know, selection directly affects the quality of HR available in the organization. If you select the most suitable right candidate, that means it's a quality person, a qualified and a quality person with qualities required, right qualities. So then inefficient and effective selections decisions results like inefficient, ineffective වැරදි කෙනෙක්ව select කරොත් it results deterioration of quality of HR and ultimately damage the organizational success. So the importance is where if you have a proper selection, you have good talent, quality people, quality HR, where the company has talented persons for various activities, thereby to improve the productivity and profitability of the organization. Then also better efficiency. You know, if the organization has selected the right person to do the right job, it ensures that that right person produce better quality work and facilitate fast achievement of objectives. අපි හරි කෙනාව select කළා නම් එයා හරියට වැඩ කරනවා. එයා better quality of work. එයා හොඳ quality work එකක් එයාගේ job එක හරියට එයා කරනවා. That means it facilitates fast achievement of organizational objectives. Then ultimately it's tone up the overall efficiency of the organization. Not only that, මං කතා කරද්දි කතා කළා ඇයි careful selection important. එතනදී අපි කතා කළා cost එක වැඩි. වැරදි කෙනෙක්ව select කරගත්තොත් it's a cost. If you have selected the right person, it reduces the cost of training and development. Because you know, better selection of candidates definitely reduce the cost of training because qualified personnel have better grasping power. If they select suitable candidates for suitable job, they can easily understand the techniques of the work better in a quick time. So besides, the organization can develop different training programs for different persons on the basis of their individual differences, thus reducing the time and cost training considerably. මේ කියන්නේ මොකක්ද? ඔයාව අපි හරි කෙනෙක්ව ගත්තොත් එයාට ජොබ් එක මුල ඉඳලා කියලා දෙන්න අවශ්‍යතාවයක් නැහැ. එයා ජොබ් එක හරියට කරන්න දන්නවා. ජොබ් එකේ ටෙක්නික්ස් ඉක්මනට අයිඩෙන්ටිෆයි කරගන්න පුළුවන්. ඉක්මනට තේරුම් ගන්න පුළුවන්. අපි කියන්නේ ජොබ් එක he's picking the job very easily quickly. එතකොට there is no need of additional training to an employee. Think about a job vacancies there for a cutter in a manufacturing organization, a garment manufacturing organization, a cutter. එතකොට cut කරන්න දන්නේ නැත්නම් company එක select කරලා තියෙන්නේ obviously the wrong person, but still අපි ආව select කරගන්න අපිට කවුරුත් නැති නිසා අපිට ඒ වෙලේ අවශ්‍ය නිසා we select that person. So what happens is this person doesn't know how to cut. Then you have to start from the beginning. How to cut, how to operate the machine and everything. But if that person has that kind of a knowledge to easily grab things, easily like understand the stuff, that person will quickly adapt to the job and easily he will start working on. Okay, so then the training cost is less. අපිට ඊට වඩා advanced mechanisms, advanced machineries වලට ආව train කරන්න පුළුවන්. So likewise, it reduces the training cost. And also it reduces the turnover. Because as I told you at the beginning, if that person is not the suitable person, might be overqualified, underqualified, not suitable for the job, become demotivated. The employee is not working properly, and in the future that might he will leave the company. Sometimes might the company has to terminate that employee. So that enhances the labor turnover of an organization, and it enhances the cost, recruitment cost. මොකද අපිට ඒකට replacement එකක් recruit කරන්න වෙන නිසා. Not only that, if you select the right person, it enhances the motivation, because the right person for the right job tends to motivate the person to work more effectively and efficiently, because that they feel their skills are properly used and they tend to contribute more attention to the job. එයා හරි ජොබ් එකට සිලෙක්ට් කරලා නම් එයාට ෆීල් වෙනවා රයිට් මේ තමයි මගේ හරියටම මට මැච් වෙන ජොබ් එක. මගේ knowledge එක මගේ skills හරියට use වෙනවා. එතකොට වෙන්නේ කොහොමද? එයාලා වැඩිපුර වැඩ කරන්න උත්සාහ කරනවා. They try to contribute more. Loyalty enhanced, they are not getting absent, they are working more efficiency, everything associated together with the motivation. And also it reduces the absenteeism, because the company would pay better for a right person because he uses his right skills at the job. Not only that, they take safety precautions, they know how to work, and it reduces the accidents, and then no need to take leave. So absenteeism reduces, and minimizes the occurrence of accidents as well. Because of that, right selection is really important. So we have discussed the aim. Aim it's ensuring person job fit. එතර අපිට benefits, importance අපි කතා කළා. Now it's about the objectives. The same thing, but still in other words, where the organization to get the right person for the job vacancy. තරාගේ job එකට right person recruit කරන්න, select කරන්න තමයි objective එක of an organization. So it ensures the main aim of selection. Not only that, to establish and maintain an image as a good employer. You know, employer of choice. People want to get the jobs at Haley's, Hemas, is it? Then about MAS, Abans, Hydromani, the Nestle, Unilever. Those are big companies, but still, people want to get jobs in those big companies. Why? They are employer of choice, best places to work. එතර එහෙම best places to work වෙන්නේ when the employees are treated well by the employer, because the selection process is fairer and handled in a professional way without less discrimination. Okay, then it creates more favorable attitudes. Why? You, after going to an interview in an organization where it named as best place to work, you will pass the message to other colleagues, other friends. That was such a nice organization. They treated me very well at the interview. There was no any discrimination happens, and they clearly told me that you are not be able to select for this position due to these reasons. Rejection is in a like a justifiable manner. ඔයාව select නොවුනත් ඔයා company එක ගැන වැරද්දක් කියන්නේ. Why? The company treated you that much of a fairer and a professional way. කියනවා මේ වෙලාවේ අපිට select කරන්න බෑ මෙන්න මේ හේතු නිසා. හැබැයි අපි ඉස්සරහට ඔයාව බලන්නම්. ඔයා ටිකක් attention එකේ ඉන්න අය මේ වගේ job vacancy එකක් ඔයාට match වෙන එකක් නේද කියලා. Like the company having these fairer professional selection mechanisms, they can create an image as a good employer or create employer of choice. And as we continuously discuss, there is a huge cost, effort, time, energy, and other resources are associated with. If you select the right person, it's a cost effective decision. හැයි ආය select කරන්න යන cost එක අඩු වෙනවා. Train ගොඩක් ලොකු training programs කරන්න යන එක අඩු වෙනවා. So because of that, as I told you, right person is an asset and the right selection decision is an investment. Wrong selection. හැමතිස්සෙම අපි කතා කළා right selection ගැන. වැරදි කෙනෙක්ව ගත්තොත් මොකද වෙන්නේ? If you get a right person, they will perform better, they will motivate, they will not leave the company, they will give their efficiency, effectiveness, their knowledge, they will work better, they will pass the message that this company is the best. හැබැයි වැරදි කෙනෙක් ගත්තොත්, if you select the wrong person, what will happen? The expected job performance does not occur. As I told you, the organizational performance depends on this individual performance. එක්කෙනා වැඩ කරන්නේ කොහොමද? එයාගේ performance එක මත company එකේ performance depend වෙනවා. And not only that, අපි කෙනෙක්ව recruit කරනකොට නැත්නම් අපි කෙනෙක්ව select කරනකොට company එක, the company expecting this employee to work in a certain way. The company expect the performance of an employee. But if you select the wrong person with wrong attitudes, wrong skills, wrong qualities, that person, that candidate might not be able to give the expected performance. That means expected performance does not offer high performance එකක් නැහැ. Loss of expected appropriate contribution. Why? The employee is not motivated. He's not the right person. He does not have that enthusiasm to perform. Then the less contribution from that person. එයාගේ contribution එක අඩුයි. Cost incurred for induction and training, because we need to give more induction, more training for that employee to make him as a right candidate even. But what happens ultimately? Sometimes it increases the accidents. A huge cost. Sometimes that employee might cut his finger in a cutter, in a machine. Think about biscuit manufacturing company, oven operator. You are selecting not the right person. වැරදි කෙනාව oven operator කෙනෙක් විදිහට දාන. You know, the company produces bulk of biscuits at a time. If the oven operator, the new recruiter, doesn't know how to put a timer and temperature, and what will happen? You will get burned biscuit. Billions of biscuits will go away, go in a waste. Has to be thrown to the dustbin. We can't take anything. Burnt biscuits වලින් මුකුත් හදන්න බෑනේ. නේද? A chef, a wrong one with a wrong recipe, wrong buns, wrong biscuits, wrong cakes and all. So it'll happen. It's a loss, a huge loss for the company. It's incurred a huge cost. and another thing, increase grievances. කොහොමද grievances වැඩි වෙන්නේ? අනේ මට මේ කරන්න බෑ. I don't understand this job. Oh, what is this? I don't like to do this. Likewise, in grievances, කෙන්දිරිලි කියලා කියන්නේ දුක් ගැනවිල්ල. There will be increase of grievances, and you know, these grievances are passes through to the other employees as well. වගේ යාළුවට grievance එකක් නම්, if your friend is having a grievance, won't it pass you to? Won't it get it passed for you? ඔයත් ඊට පස්සේ කේන්ද්‍රී ගාන ගන්නවා with your friend. Okay, that's what happens in an organization. Grievances are passes through from employee to employee, and it might become a big grievance, a huge problem. And also additional cost in procuring a new right employee. After terminating or after that employee is leaving, they had to start the process again from the beginning, from attraction, from to select and then to hire, induct, then give training. A huge cost. And a special thing, this harming thoughts of that leaving employee can harm the thoughts of existing employees who have interacted with this wrong employee. යනකොට පොඩි විස බීජයක් ඔලුවට දාලා යනවා. The wrong employee might put a small germ, cancer. It might be a cancer. It enhances, and sometimes people can go for trade union acts as well. That has been happened in organizations. So that's why right selection is really important. If you select wrong employee, these are some of the effects, but there are so many. These are the main effects which you can see. Okay, proper selection. There are proper selection එකක් කරන්න නම්, what are the inputs? Job analysis information, human resource plan information, performance evaluation. From the beginning, continuously I'm saying we need the information of job description and job specification to prepare selection criteria in an interview, in an application evaluation. This is the job, so these are the required qualifications, these are the required qualities. එතර පොඩි table එකක් හදනවා. It's a management trainee, so basic qualification is a degree. If he's having a degree, tick. Leadership qualities, team qualities, attitudes, anything depending on the job. So to have those selection criteria, we need job analysis information. These criteria will be used at the interviews and application evaluation or any kind of evaluation processes. For an example, if you are going to select an information technology security officer, the company has to test the knowledge of that person first. So by the criteria, they can have a selection test to test the knowledge of that person about the security measures. And then the company can have set up any kind of IT environment for that employee to test his knowledge in practical knowledge, theoretical knowledge from the examination, and the practical knowledge by ensuring that employee to use in the computer. And then the interview can have a discussion about the prior experience to test whether that employee has actually engaged in such scenarios in the previous environments. Likewise, to develop these proper criteria, we need the job analysis information. Whether HR plan, why HR plan information? You know, in HR plan, it has specified the number and the type of employees needed in the future, like job vacancies to be filled due to a death of an employee, due to a termination, retirement, for leaves like maternity or any educational leaves, or sometimes for a transfer, promotion, any kind of movements. Because of those movements, job vacancies might appear. So these everything is recorded in the HR plan. එතන ඒ vacancy එකේ තියෙනවා නම් අපිට vacancies 3ක් fill කරන්න ඕනේ කියලා, 3 vacancies for a position. So we need that information to select employees. නැත්නම් we need 3, but in the selection process we have only selected 1, or we need 1, we have selected 4. A cost. Okay, so likewise, HR plan information is really important. Then performance evaluation. I mean selection එකේදී අපිට performance evaluation information ඕන වෙන්නේ. You know, any employee is not directly hired or like selected and placed in a permanent position. That employee will undergo at least 6 months of a probationary period. Then only that employee will get confirmed at a job. We will discuss this in details in the future sessions. But still, the job performance of that employee in the probationary period has to be evaluated after some time, 2 to 3 months, 6 months, sometimes once in 2 months, can be. Okay, so this performance evaluation information is required to check whether this employee is the right candidate to get confirmed. Okay, if not, if the performance is not good, the company can rethink about the selection decision. So when it comes to requirements for selection, inputs අපි දන්නවා මොනවාද now? Job analysis information, human resource plan, as well as job performance evaluation. Then about selection, you should consider a good selection ratio. This is about the number of job positions, vacant job positions, to the number of job applicants. So provides the information about the value of assessment tools such as interviews, work samples, psychometric tests, or any examinations. So if the number is between 0 and 1, where a number closer to 0 implies that there are many applicants for any one position. And if the ratio is closer to 1, most applicants will need to be hired in order to fill the available positions. Selection ratio you need require. And good selectors. This is also an important requirement. Why? If you are to select right employee, right candidate, you need good selectors to identify that right candidate from the pool of candidates. So the right persons in an interview panel, or people who mark the exam papers, or to do psychometric tests or any psychological or personality test, you should have, the company should have right people, right persons in terms of competencies and intelligence to select the right person for the job. If not, interview එකේ ඉන්න අයට තේරෙන්නේ නැත්නම්, හොඳ knowledge එකක් නැත්නම්, these people will not be able to select the right person. Think about we need a person to recruit for a position in finance analyst, okay, financial statement analyst, just for an example. The interview panel එකේ ඉන්න HR අය. HR people know finance, but right good selectors, we need people from the finance division or a consultant from outside of the company to check whether this employee match with the job, if he is the right person to be selected as the financial analyst. Okay, එතකොට selectors HR position එකක් select කරන්න, HR person people කෙනෙක්ව select කරන්න නම් at the interview panel we need a person who knows HR. If you are going to select a job required to marketing, so in the interview panel we need a person who knows marketing. So good selectors is important. Then good ethical standards. As I told you, there should be a fair process. No discrimination on or biasness on gender, religion, race, social class, social relationships, and professional relationships. You know, there might be an influence. ඔයාලා දන්නවනේ කවුරු හරි ඔයාලා ඉන්ටර්විව් එකකට යද්දී ඒ ඉන්ටර්විව් පැනල් එකේ ඉන්න අය වඳුරන නැත්නම් කම්පැනි එකට අඳුරන කෙනෙක්ව හොයාගෙන යනවා contact එකක් to get some influence. but the company has to ensure that there's no any influence. If there is an influence to select an employee, then that means there are biases. Depending on social relationships and professional relationships people do all around the world. But it's not a good ethical standard. Okay, try to avoid those things if you want to have a good selection mechanism or a good selection process. Then good budget, sufficient financial strength. This is mostly because to use several mechanisms, test or to have proper interviews with right people, good selectors, අපිට හොඳ budget එකක් ඕන. As I told you, if some organizations, big companies, to select higher positions like their DGMs, deputy general managers, they don't hold the interviews at their organizational premises. They sometimes book a hotel room like Cinnamon or any sometimes Shangri-La. So to have such a small discussion, one-to-one discussions, but still you should have a good budget for that. And also, like to have a test. If you want, like think about a position like management trainee in an organization, sometimes they get like thousands applications. So we can't interview thousands employees. So we need a paper or any test to shortlist people. So to prepare the test, we have to consult people in the industry. In an organization might give consult or hire some university lecturers to prepare papers and to mark papers, to hold exams for 1,000 people. The organization might not have sufficient halls to that. Other organization එක මේ වගේ 1000ක 2000ක exam එකක් තියන නම් they have to book places, sometimes schools or any halls. එතන අපිට invigilators ලා ඕන වෙනවා, papers print කරන්න ඕන වෙනවා. So we need a good financial strength to have proper mechanisms. If you don't have a proper like a budget, you can't have good mechanisms. You will like stick into application evaluation. And from just seeing the application, we can't say that person is the right person. Okay? Rigorous application selection process we need a good budget. Because after seeing that application, it says your qualifications, your abilities, qualities, experience. But to ensure that, to test that, we need some mechanisms. It might be an interview. It might be a psychometric test. It might be an assessment center. But still, we need a good budget to make those happen. So these are requirements. So if we put all these things in a one picture, we have inputs, we have the requirements, and we have the output: hire, induction, and training. Hiring, induction will be discussed with me, and the training will discuss with another lecturer. Okay, now the selection process. After job vacancy after seeing the vacancy, applicant has a job interest to apply that. So that is the starting point of selection process. If the applicant does not have the interest, they won't send an application. Okay. So then pre-employment screening is done with the application evaluation. With the applicant's job interest, the applicant will send an application to the organization, or a curriculum vitae or a CV, very popular name. The company will screen this CV and test whether this employee is eligible to that job. Like think about a job for the same example, management trainee. The basic requirement is have obtained a basic degree, bachelor's. So from the application itself, the company can check. Then if the people does not have a degree, they can reject those applications, and the people who have obtained a degree, the company can use it for the further processes. And then, as I told you, if there are thousands of applications with degrees, because it's the basic criteria for that job, the company can go for a test, aptitude test, to screen some more. And also after that screening, after test, there might be only like hundreds employees after getting selected. So then company can go for rigorous another test, two tests, and then about 50 people can get through for the interviews. Okay. And then background investigation. After employees get through from the interviews, the company is undergoing a background investigation. Background එක check කරලා බලනවා. There are several mechanisms we will discuss in employee selection part 2. This background investigation is really important to test whether this person is coming from a questionable background or not. So after doing this background investigation, company එකට ඕන නම්, if the company needs, company can do a additional interview. It's optional. You know, samahara companies, especially for big positions, they have one-to-one, like the last interview with the CEO, with the GM. There might be, it's depending on the position and also depending on the organization. Then the company, after doing all those use mechanisms to select the employee, they give the conditional job offer. Better the conditions, whether you are accepting this or not, it's like an appointment letter but with conditions. The employee can accept the job offer or reject the job offer, depends. Then if the employee accepts the job offer, they can do a medical test or a medical exam or a drug test. So this is also depending on the countries, organizations, the test requirements differ. Like for an example, if you are applying for a position like a typist, the company might rigorously test your eyesight as well as your finger dexterity. එකන ඇංගිලිය වගේ හොඳට වැඩ කරනවාද, ඇස් හොඳට පේනවාද කියලා typing job එකක් නම් වැඩිපුර check කරයි compared to others. So likewise, depending on the job, depending on the legal implications of different countries, the test requirements differ, the medical examinations requirements differ, but still medical examination is a must. Then after conducting that, if you pass through the exam, medical exam, the job placement, that means you can get hired to the organization. So this is the end of employee selection part 1. We will meet to discuss the mechanisms that can used in employee selection, like methods of employee selection in employee selection part 2. Thank you very much.